This is a big time bomb ticking.
These kids who commit suicide, you go look at their Instagrams, you would have no clue.
My name is Song Swan, and this is Groups E presentation. The title of this presentation is The Weakening of UTP Students' Mental Health Due to Social Media Invention. Why did we choose this topic? Social media plays a big role in our daily lives, such as sharing contents to the public, for business inquiries, and even for studies. As we know, due to the corona pandemic, we are not able to move around freely, and one of the very few ways to communicate with each other is through social media platforms. According to Bowles, social media carries more weight on the negative side than the positive side. Social media shows signs of uneasiness, tiredness, and low self-esteem. Rouse stated that cyberbullying, social isolation, suicide, and depression are main issues caused by social media. The loss of efficiency due to social media is also a rising concern. Over 14 million millennials use social media for at least a quarter of a day. So we chose this topic for our research because we are aware that most people do not know the harm that comes with excessive use of social media. This problem has been around for years, hence raising distress among the people in UTP on the health as well as the mentality of UTP students.
Hi, my name is Mubarak bin Azli, course Chemical Engineering, and I will explain about problem statement, objective, and research questions. There are 4 problem statements in our studies. So to start off, social media has transformed our lives in several ways and had created a paradigm shift in our reliance on technology on a daily basis. The key concern which is that most users are not aware of how these social media can be detrimental to their mental health as they were introduced to us with great benefits. Next, we initially signed up for social medias for good reasons. For instance, to be reunited with our long lost friends, only to later discover that all the good services they offered be swamped out with us being addicted, being anxious, and depressed. Furthermore, most guardians are concerned that their kids are spending more time on social networks and are not paying attention on the impacts of these social networks toward their mental health. Last but not least, youth are still taking this problem lightly and use these gadgets in everyday life even though they are the main victim of these tech titans. Next, in this study, there are 3 objectives. The first objective is to investigate the level of awareness among UTP students on negative impact of social media usage on their mental health. The second objective is to comprehend how much time invested on these tools by the UTP students that could possibly lead to the deterioration of their mental health. And the last objective is to observe how social media features and contents can cause depression. In this study, we proposed 3 research questions. The first research question is, what is the level of awareness among UTP students regarding the negative impact of social media usage on their mental health? Based on this survey, all respondents are UTP students and they acknowledge that the social media usage can give negative effect on their mental health. Next, the second research question is, does the time spent on scrolling through social media can cause addiction amongst UTP students? And the final research question is, does social media features and contents have an impact on UTP students' mental health? Based on this survey, all UTP students, which are the respondents, agree that the features of social media can give negative impacts on them. That's all from me.
Hello, my name is Jonathan, and right now I will talk about the research method. To define research method, it is a specific procedure or technique used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic. This section also allows the reader to critically evaluate a study's overall validity and reliability. Moving on to the data collection, our group has discussed and found that the mixed method approach is the most suitable method for our research. Reason being said so is because it provides a study with the advantages of both quantitative and qualitative data. So quantitative method is a method which calculates and constructs statistical models in terms of numericals. It is good in a way that data representation could easily be done in a simple and informative way, where bar graphs and pie charts will be used to give readers a better picture on the findings. Meanwhile, for the qualitative method, it is more to a non-numerical data approach and involves more to an open-ended questions. So to begin, in terms of quantitative method, we had conducted an online survey questionnaire by using Google Forms. The reason is due to its structured and accurate data and have anonymous data collection, which allows respondents to give their honest opinions and, most important of all, is free of charge. So our target respondents are those from University Technology Petronas and also those aging between 18 to 25 years old, which is categorized as youth in Malaysia. In our survey, we had also asked questions which consist of yes or no questions and also rating scale questions where respondents are required to select their choice from a range of 1 to 5. The next method is qualitative method, where we had conducted online interviews through Microsoft Teams and Zoom platform. Now we know that due to the current situation, face-to-face interaction is not encouraged, so we decided to use technology at its best and conducted this interview via online. Since our research is only focusing on youth in University Technology Petronas, 2 interviewees from UTP had been selected to give their opinions about our topic. We included 5 open-ended questions, and the feedbacks were analysed and used to support our research. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Supinya Anak Perpetahun. Today I'll be presenting about our findings and discussion. We managed to get 71 respondents, which all of them are from UTP students, where 57.1% were male and another 42.9% were female. 42.3% were aged between 18 to 21 years old, and the rest was 22 to 25 years old. In regard to our research question number 1, which is what is the level of awareness among UTP students regarding the negative impact of the social media towards their mental health. According to our research question, we asked the respondents about their level of awareness, and we found out that 42.3% of the respondents had completely and high level of awareness. Only 2.5% of our respondents had medium level of awareness, and 9.9% had low level of awareness, while 4.2% are lack of awareness. From the table 1.1, we had calculated the mean value of the respondents' level of awareness, and we found out that the mean value is 4.8, which is fall between the high and also complete level of awareness. Thus, it can be concluded that the respondents in our survey has a significant level of awareness considering their level of education. However, our study should be done among a wider scale of respondents that cover all the Generation Z. This is important in order for us to get a more accurate result.
In response to research question 2, we asked the respondent the average time they spend on social media per day. The variation of the answer were allocated to 4 different time range. The response we got showed that majority of the respondent, 48 out of 71, which was equivalent to 67.6%, spend more than 10 hours on social media per day. 19.7% spend an average of 7 to 9 hours, 1.4% spend 4 to 6 hours, and 11.3% spend an average of 1 to 3 hours on social media per day. We also asked about their ability to go on a day without social media. 81.7% claimed that they could not spend a day away from social media, whereas 14.1% answered that they can, and 4.2% were unsure. To determine whether our hypothesis 2 was accepted or rejected, we showed a bar graph to visualize the correlation between the time they spend on social media and the possibility of them to be addicted. From the graph, we identified a significant difference between the time they spend on social media per day and their ability to go on a day without social media. 38 out of 48 of the respondents who claimed to spend more than 10 hours per day on social media stated that they cannot go on a day without social media. 12 out of 14 respondents who spent 7 to 9 hours on average per day on social media also claimed the same thing. However, 7 out of 8 respondents who spend 1 to 3 hours per day on social media also claim that they cannot go on a day without social media. Since there is a significant time difference between the time they spend on social media compared to 10 hours and 7 to 9 hours, this finding could be used to initiate another research in the future to investigate their intention to use social media and how they are able to control their usage. However, one of our interviewees, Alex Wang, claimed that it is not the social media's fault for making the youth addicted to it. He used an analogy of a smoke addict in which it was not the cigarette fault for existing that made the smoker to be addicted, but the act of picking up the cigarette and not being able to control their usage. His opinion was also mutual with our second interviewee, which was Im. She supported her argument by taking the recent COVID-19 pandemic as a main factor of the youth spending too much time on social media. With the limited time we spend outside, it is easier for us to opt in using social media to connect with other people. Despite that, Hypothesis 2 was still accepted, considering the data collected from the survey outnumbered their opinion. Thus, the time spent scrolling through social media corresponds to the possibility of the UTP students to get addicted. To address our research question 3, we asked 4 questions with yes and no selection. The first question asks whether or not the respondents have ever felt depressed due to social media. The findings showed 59.2% admitted to have ever feel depressed because of social media. The following question relates to the features and content of the social media itself. 74.6% admitted that they are concerned about the number of likes or views they get every time they upload a new content in this platform. 78.9% confess that they tend to put themselves down every time they see a picture of a perfect body proportion portrayed on social media. 76.1% also admitted that the perfectly curated life portrayed on social media can also induce a feeling of lacking within themselves. To answer our research question 3, we made a correlation between the first question and the other 3 questions. We took a sample of 68 out of our 71 respondents, since the other 3 responses were inconsistent. We found out that 42 out of 68 respondents, which is equivalent to 61.8%, answered yes to all these 4 questions, in which we interpret as the features and contents that came with these tools caused the feeling of depression amongst UTP students. 16.2% claim that they have never felt depressed because of social media. Yet, the features and contents of social media still affect them in a negative way, as they answered yes to the other 3 questions. 22% stated that they have ever neither feel depressed nor do the contents and features of the social media affect them in a negative way. This finding is consistent with one of our interviewee point of view, in which he strongly agreed that the constant exposure to social media contents, such as a perfect lifestyle portrayed especially by celebrities, would induce a sense of inferiority complex among youth that would eventually cause depression and anxiety. To conclude, social media contents and features do affect UTP students' mental health in a negative way, as hypothesis 3 was accepted. Considering our limited time and resources, we were only able to study the effect of the most obvious features and contents on social media. This study should be done to investigate the effect of more contents and features offered by these tools, not only on the mental health of the youth, but also how these tools could manipulate the way they think to the point that they lose their own self-identity and the things they actually value.
To wrap it up, we can now understand better about our research topic about mental health issues due to social media. We can also conclude that all 3 hypotheses was accepted, and we hope that in the future, youth are more aware of what social media can cause to our mental health. We also wish that with high level of awareness, our country will be able to achieve the 3rd Sustainable Development Goals, which is good health and well-being. So to end this, we would like to give big thanks to our lecturer Dr. Ridwan for all the knowledge and guidance given to us throughout these 12 weeks of study.